Good day, math learners! I'm back! This will be the continuation to our past discussion from the last video. So, we will tackle about the measures of variability of group data. That will be the standard deviation and the variance. Standard deviation for group data can be calculated using this formula. SD is equal to square root of n quantity summation fx squared minus quantity summation fx raised to 2 divided by n quantity n minus 1, where SD is the standard deviation, f for the frequency, x for the given value, and the symbol for the mean, n is the number of measurements or values. Here are the steps that can be followed in solving for the standard deviation of group data. Let us continue answering the example by solving for the standard deviation to our past discussion for in getting the average deviation. Same process. So, same given. The list gives the number of hours spent by grade 7 students on leisure activities during the typical school week. And this will be the table. Okay, step 1. Continue the table used for the average deviation and add two columns for x squared and fx squared. So this will be the column, x squared, fx squared. Step 2. Solve for the values of the square of the class mark x squared. When you say class mark x squared, just simply squared the values of our class mark, which is x. So simply 28, this one, 28 times 28, that will be 784. 23 times 23 or 23 squared is equal to 529. 18 squared is equal to 324. 13 squared is equal to 169. 8 squared, that will be 64. Step 3. Find the value of fx squared by multiplying frequency and the square of the class mark. So you will multiply the frequency and the square of the class mark, which is x squared. 8 times 784, that will be 6,272. 12 times 529, that will be 6,384. 7 times 324, that will be 2,268. 6 times 169, that will be 1,014. 2 times 64, that will be 128. Step 4. Add all the values of the last column, that will be fx squared. So just simply add all the values for this column. 6,272 plus 6,348 plus 2,268 plus 1,014 plus 128, and that will be equal to 6,030. Now we already have the values of our summation of fx squared. Now we can get the value of our standard deviation. Standard deviation, as we remember, square root of n quantity summation of fx squared minus quantity summation of fx raised to 2 divided by n quantity n minus 1, where the values of our n is equal to 35. The values of our summation fx squared is equal to 6,030. Summation of fx is equal to 720 as we computed a while ago. Then substitute all the values. That will be square root of 35, quantity 6,030 minus quantity 720 raised to 2 divided by 35, quantity 35 minus 1. Then simplify. Then using your calculator, you can get standard deviation is equal to 5.98667989243. Then, this is not our final answer. We need to what? we need to run off our answer into two decimal places. So 5.98, and that will be 5.99 because 6 is more than 5 beside 8. That's why 5.99 is our standard deviation. In solving for the variance, we will just continue for what we get or for what we solve for the standard deviation. So the steps in solving for the variance for group data is just the same with the steps in solving for the variance of ungrouped data. To find the value of the variance, just get the square of the standard deviation. In simple notation, variance is equal to n quantity summation fx squared minus quantity summation of fx raised to 2 divided by n quantity n minus 1, or just simply the squared of the standard deviation. Then, for the step 1, get the value of our variance. Variance is equal to the squared of the standard deviation. As we can see in our table, so we already computed the standard deviation, which is 5.99. So we will just substitute the value of standard deviation. So 5.99 squared is equal to 35.8801. So run off to two decimal places. So your final answer is 35.88. Now let us have the summary of measures of variability of the given example. This will be the given, right? So the measures of variability are range is equal to 24, average deviation is equal to 5.06, standard deviation is equal to 5.99, variance is equal to 35.88. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to answer the given formative assessment.